Hey there, my friends. What a pleasure to have you here, exploring this forbidden knowledge that almost no one has access to. You're smarter than 99% of the world, and I say that without the slightest irony. For today, I need you to imagine the following: a safe hidden in the Swiss Alps. But it's not just any safe, it's the hiding place for the fortunes of kings, dictators, millionaires, Russian oligarchs, and even criminals. All hidden from the eyes of the world. But this safe grew. It grew so much that it became a global financial empire. An empire that faced wars, scandals, collapses, and survived them all. This is the story of UBS, the Swiss bank that made secrecy a luxury and for a long time was synonymous with one thing: dirty money. Let's go, but first subscribe to the channel, or you can leave right now. Just kidding. But help out, I'm counting on you. Part 1. The secret as the main product. Since the 19th century, Switzerland has built its reputation on neutrality and banking confidentiality. Its banks, especially UBS, Union Bank of Switzerland, thrived by offering what no other could: absolute silence. During World War II, UBS not only held the assets of aristocrats and Jewish families, but also laundered gold looted by the Nazi regime. In other words, these guys were waiters who served everyone without distinction. The only thing that matters is participating and profiting from all sides. In the post-war period, while Europe rebuilt its ruins, Switzerland remained intact, remaining uninvolved, and its coffers were overflowing. UBS grew by acquiring smaller banks and during the Cold War, attracted more global wealth, thanks to its reputation for security in uncertain times. Part 2. From Glory to Greed. In the 1980s and 1990s, UBS wanted more. Under the leadership of polished executives like Robert Studer and later Mathis Cabialavetta, for illustrative purposes, imagine that fresh-faced European banker from the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. The bank expanded aggressively, particularly in the gold and international investment markets. However, with growth came miscalculated risks. A notable case was that of Rami Goldstein, a trader who invested in complex derivatives in Japan. His profits were only theoretical, based on internal models, and when the market turned, the loss was colossal, almost $1 billion. This loss nearly derailed the planned merger with the Swiss Bank Corporation, SBC, but the deal went ahead, and ironically, UBS ended up being swallowed up by its smaller rival. Part 3. Ghosts of the Past. At the height of the new UBS era, with global ambitions and operations in the US, Asia, and the Middle East, the past came back to haunt him. Investigations revealed that the bank had received Nazi gold and turned a blind eye to accounts belonging to Holocaust victims, whose heirs went there in search of any money the family had left behind. The bank simply played dumb, by which point it had already become year-end bonuses for executives. The result? International protests and a billion-dollar settlement with Jewish organizations and the US government. But the deepest blow would come in the form of a former employee, Bradley Birkenfeld. In 2008, he turned over to US authorities a tax evasion scheme operated by UBS that included secret accounts, shell companies, and an almost cinematic operation of clandestine meetings and encrypted laptops. The bank, under pressure, broke the biggest taboo in the Swiss system. It handed over the data of more than 4,000 clients and paid a fine of $780 million. Yes, the prestigious Swiss banking secrecy has gone out the window. If you want to hide your money, the Caribbean is more worthwhile. Part 4. Scandal after scandal. If the 2008 crisis had already left UBS vulnerable, the LIBOR, the global benchmark interest rate scandal, nearly sealed its demise. One of its traders, Tom Hayes, manipulated the rate to his own advantage and that of the institution. With billions in contracts tied to LIBOR, every minor adjustment yielded millions. When the scheme came to light, UBS paid $1.5 billion in fines. Sergio Ermotti, the CEO appointed amid the chaos, streamlined the structure, reduced exposure to market risk, and focused on the source of its reputation: wealth management. The strategy worked. Within a few years, the bank returned to profit and regained investor confidence. Part 5. From Savior to Savior Again. In 2023, after the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, the financial world was once again shaken. And the one that took a nasty hit was Credit Suisse, UBS's old rival. On the brink of collapse, there was only one way out: UBS bought Credit Suisse for a pittance, in a deal secretly orchestrated by the Swiss government to prevent the collapse of the system. To lead this new merger, UBS brought back its savior, Sergio Ermotti. In his second stint, he began the integration efficiently, cutting excesses and recovering profits. With the acquisition, UBS became the largest wealth manager on the planet. The final lesson. UBS has survived almost everything: world wars, ethics scandals, financial collapses, and even the complete exposure of its greatest asset, its secrecy. Today, the bank is not just big. It's gigantic. $3 trillion under management, a global presence, the trust of the wealthy, and power that transcends borders. But as history has taught, in finance, everything can change overnight. All it takes is one slip-up, a mismanaged scandal, or a mispriced crisis. A bank's strength, ultimately, lies not only in its coffers, but in its reputation. And that, UBS learned the hard way, takes decades to build, and seconds to crumble. See you in the next video, my dear friend.